This episode of Made in America is brought to you by America's Inventor Lady and Home Talk USA. Home Talk is a proud member of the King's Broadcasting Network, which has been bringing you the best in home-based innovation since 1998.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us for this episode of Made in America.
This segment is brought to you by the law offices of R.P. Baraska. RPB law offices have been bringing corporate-level legal expertise to the independent inventor community for more than 20 years. For all your inventing legal needs, trust rpblawoffices.com.
Welcome, America! That's right. This is the Made in America show right here on the King's Broadcasting Network. We are streaming live all across the great Americas. That's right. All our great radio affiliates. Well, I'd like to welcome the co-host of the show, though. She's the inventor lady herself. We want to welcome the Invent America audience that loves to tune into the Made in America because, like Rita says, America invents. But Rita, inventor lady, how you doing, my darling? What a great show the last hour. I tell you, a lot of great education information in that segment.
Absolutely. It's wonderful to be able to do that Invent America hour because we get to introduce the products that are coming to market. And then we get to do the Made in America hour where we get to tell the stories of the folks who have been in business for a while. And sometimes it's generational. Sometimes it's just all across the country. And it's wonderful to be able to share with America the problems that were solved. And we're doing it right here on USA soil.
Well, I can remember Home Talk USA when we were trying to do the Invent America show, trying to get that blueprint down. Home Talk was established show with established companies. It's been in business, and then you had the Invent America entrepreneur that's trying to get their products to market to provide that blueprint. And then it's so great that the Invent America show can actually make that blueprint into Made in America on the products that are made here in the United States, which is so important. You see that the excitement in this country right now that the American factories are now opening up with the tax credits that are involved and all the great things that our president administration is doing to try to understand that the small business guy, the small entrepreneur, the Made in America small company is about almost 68% of the economy. And I think some of the administrations fail to realize and to put that blueprint together where we can explain not just the products that are made in America, but the effect that a manufacturing plant can have to a community with their quality of life, their infrastructure, right, Rita? It's so important. Education.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just assume everything comes from China, and it does not. They don't realize how often things really do come from America. And when I was young, my husband worked in the steel industry, and the plant was right down the street. And so you saw the things that were being made. My current husband worked in the paper mill. Paper was made in America. Yep. And so while a lot of the bigger industries have shifted, a lot of those smaller ones are still right here in our own backyard. And it's wonderful to be able to let everybody know what products are made in America so you can actually look for them. And realizing that, you can go to Amazon, you can find products that are made in America if you look for it, and you can find things, but a lot of times you can tell by the darn price. If it's made in America, it's going to cost more. All right. And you know what? It's going to be a better product. It's like the gentleman I had on last week that did the original safety siphon. They've got a lifetime guarantee on the safety siphon. Well, hello, none of the other siphons made in China have a lifetime guarantee. And so we learn the advantages of buying made in America.
Well, it leads into my next statement. I proved this about 20 years ago. You heard my little thing I had at Ace Hardware, where I actually proved that theory. To refresh my memory to my audience, about 20 years ago, we were when the China people were coming in with the cameras and going to the trade shows and not trying to steal, gonna steal the intellectual properties back 20 years ago. And I proved the point. I went down to my local Ace Hardware, a good buddy of mine. I said, look, let me prove this right now and do a little thing. And what I basically did is I took remember that story? I took two tape measures, one that was made in China and one that was made in the United States. And the one in the United States, man, was like $4 more than the one that was, from China. And I actually did it in, eventually what happened, the made in China tape was actually selling. It was like 10-0, the contract was coming in. There was nobody picking up the American tape measure because it was all price consumer. And then you remember I put that little 3 bullet points. If you buy this product, these are the benefits. And it was amazing. It went from 10-0 to 6-4. Now, people can still buy the China because they're looking for the cheapest price. But by me putting them little bullet points, just 3 bullet points, it went 6 to US, 4 to China. So I proved the fact, if you give the American consumer a reason to buy America and explain to them why they're paying a little bit more in environmental protection, water quality, all the regulatory things that factories has to adhere by, the pollution, things, it makes a difference. And they will buy American. They will do it. Yeah.
And, it's unfortunate. There's just certain things that aren't there yet. We had a lady years ago did a new flagpole. She wanted it made in America. We went out and got pricing. It was going to be $175 to make it in America. Well, nobody's going to spend $175 on a flagpole when you can get one at, Walmart for 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a reality check. All right, so we went then and we got pricing in China. $6.75, and it arrived boxed, nicely labeled, everything done on a pallet, as opposed to just dumping a bunch of poles in her front yard. And the horrible thing about it all was that the aluminum was being shipped from the U.S. to China.
And back to us.
Yeah. And it was like, they could have made it here. They could have, but whatever. Don't get me going. I don't have that kind of, bandwidth to,
No, you've been very nice lately in the last couple of hours. You've been smiling. We don't want to have that Jekyll craziness coming in from you right now. Yeah, I know.
Don't want to get that going.
You're starting to sound like me. You're starting to rub off, man. You're starting to sound like me. I'm nice, and all of a sudden I go off like a handle because some things trigger you off. Because we've been through wars, we've been through the China thing, we've been through the trade shows, we've seen the damage that can be done by not protecting your property. It's just as simple as that.
Yep. And, we've done multiple shows on different elements of all of that. And so this is the upside where we get to tell a new story with, a person who brought the product to market, manufactures in the U.S., selling all over the country. And awesome. Wendy, it's awesome that we have got you on the show right now so that you'll be able to tell your story and tell everybody what your product is and where to go get it. And it's an honor. It really is an honor to be able to share the stories with everyone from, the guys that we have on Home Talk USA that are the do-it-yourselfers, and they're, telling everybody in America how to fix something and be able to go do it, to, the inventors that are saying, oh, I've got this idea. Let's get it into the marketplace. How do I do it? How do I not make a mistake? Then to the folks that are in business, conducting business, manufacturing in the U.S. It's an honor to be able to, present them to America.
Well, not only that it's also to keep our legislators and our government people accountable for all the damage that they do too. We've done shows on this, and we want to pick up that to where people understand that it's not just bringing it. You can bring it to market, you can sell it. But if you have an anti-American, pro-commerce society at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, which we don't have that now, but we did for 4 years. I don't want to go into that. I'll be like you in a second, getting all crazy. But yeah, so we got to keep our government officials accountable that, look, this country is stronger when America invents. It's just as simple as that. We don't counterfeit nothing. We don't, we originate everything. We are the originators of technology. It's still here. We just had to kind of bring it out. And I think that's what's happening with the current administration. They're bringing out the power of the American consumer, the power of the American manufacturer, and the power of the inventor, the guy who has that dream, and we're here to help him with that dream. Huh, Rita?
Absolutely. And we get to tell everybody, it's like, this product is made in America. So
Yep.
you go down to your store, look for it online, go to the website. Made in America is what we're all about.
Well, great. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with Wendy. She's going to tell her story and her travels and what it took to get her product to market and why she decided to make her product here in the USA. All right, this is Home Talk USA right here on the King's Broadcasting Network, the Made America Show. I'm going to be right back with my guest, the inventor lady herself, Rita Crumpton. Y'all stay tuned now. You hear? Y'all come back now. You hear?
This segment is brought to you by SearchQuest Patent Search. SearchQuest provides for a comprehensive patent search that searches the entire world and not just the U.S. Patent Office. Make sure that before you spend those big bucks having a patent written, you've done your due diligence by getting a comprehensive patent search. Use SearchQuestPatents.com for all your patent search needs. They scour the world for you.
Thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Made in America, where we get to brag about products that are made right here in our own backyard and let you know where to go and find them. This segment is brought to you by Product Quick Start. Noah McNeely is the person, the man, who helps a lot of our inventors get from prototype to manufacturing. A couple of them have told me they think he walks on water. I'm not real sure about that, but he's the man, and he can get you product shipped in or made right here in our own backyard. My guest right now is Wendy. Wendy, thank you so much for being with us. Wendy Kushel, did I say it right?
You did.
All right. So Wendy, thank you for being with us, and tell everybody, what did you invent? All right. And what is your product? What are you selling?
Okay. And I love the word invent because people think it's a sugar scrub and people roll their eyes. Oh God, a sugar scrub. They're a dime a dozen. But I invented a formula that literally makes your skin feel delicious. It's not your average scrub. It just isn't. It came by accident because I'm not a scientist, or at least I wasn't, 6 years ago. But it's a beautiful product that not only exfoliates your hands, but doesn't leave a greasy feel at the end. And that's huge for a sugar scrub. And I also fell on the fact that some of them can really take away disgusting dirt and grime off your skin, and also take away odors. And that's really the line leader, I guess.
All right. I got some questions for you, though, on all of that. How did you get started? Let's start at the beginning.
You know what? In 2018, I had never heard of a sugar scrub. Maybe because I grew up in the mid-Atlantic and we didn't use them. I don't know. So here I am, a woman in her 50s, and someone tells me to take a shower and take, not because they wanted me to, I smelled or anything, just I needed a shower, but they said, take some sugar and some coconut oil, mix it together and go in the shower. And I was like, whoa, what is this? This is like the most amazing thing I've ever felt in my life. I'm going to start a sugar scrub company. And it kind of happened like that, but there was more to it, and I don't want to take up the entire segment with all of that. But that's how I found out about what a sugar scrub was.
Okay, but the next question then is, I'm not going to go and get, coconut juice out of my refrigerator and mix it with sugar underneath the sink and go get in the shower and assume that I'm going to not come out all sticky.
Right. Well, you don't, because coconut oil in the shower with sugar is going to melt off from the water. It wasn't sticky at all. It was just a beautiful, nice feeling. It was a little silkier, and I don't want to use the word greasy. But it was definitely a little more silky. I'll use that word than my product is. But it was a start for me because I didn't understand the concept of exfoliation and letting your body just feel super smooth. It just wasn't the thing for me. So that's what sort of started me on the path.
So then the magic is the water washing it off?
No, no. The magic for my formula, which is now a little bit more complex than just sugar and coconut oil, the magic are the combination of the butters, the oils, the little bit of beeswax, the types of sugars, the emulsifiers that make it. I literally, my product is one where the first ooh ah will be they open the jar and they go, oh, that does smell good. And then the second is the water, scrub water, which is the rinse. Oh my gosh, my skin feels so soft. Oh my God, honey, look at my hands. Look at my hands. Look how soft they are. That's what my product is. And then, of course, there's the odor remover aspect.
Just when you give me, kind of the ingredients, I think I should be, using it on my French toast. But
you could. The thing is, you can eat my product, except that I do use a preservative because that's a thing. Yeah.
Well, we had a gentleman years ago, and I still use his product, and it was a grease remover, so it would remove stains and blood and ink and wine, red wine and everything. You could spritz it on your salad. It was made with all spices from the kitchen, and it was so cool.
People want that. They do. And, I've been in California for the last few weeks, and I'll tell you, people look at that ingredient list first thing. They want to see what they're getting.
I am sure. All right. Wendala's is the name of your company.
Yes.
What does that stand for? I mean, it's, where did you come
Yes,
up with
so you can pronounce it. A lot of people, it's not the easiest name to just catch off guard and pronounce it. I've been called Wendala's, Wendala's, what you said. My Aunt Barbara, when I was a child, just started calling me Wendala. Oh, Wendala, you're so cute. So it like came to me when I started the company. It just came to me. It was a thought. Oh, I'm going to call it Wendala's Low Country Sugar Scrub. And that was it. That's all. A nickname.
That's so sweet.
Thank you.
I would think that you were, being manufactured in Hawaii with a name like that because, of all the vowels in it. But, where are you manufactured?
In Bluffton, South Carolina. That's where we have our facility. That's where we fill all our orders. It's where we were able to fill that wonderful Walmart order came from the USA Made open call. It's taken me a long time to find a formulator that can replicate my formula, but also make it in the United States, of course, still, but so that it can come out of a piston instead of grandmothers with spoons so we can scale. So that's what step we're on now. So yes, manufactured right now in South Carolina, near Hilton Head, near the coast. And then we're working with someone in New Jersey who, like, when we get our big PO, fingers crossed, he can do it from there.
Excellent. Well, I know that there is a company in California, if you get out that far, all right, that they will, if they're doing your fulfillment, they will warehouse for free. But
wow, that's a good plus. We'll have to talk about that.
That's specialize huge. In making the packaging in America.
Right,
and
right.
The CEO, her grandfather invented the blister pack.
Wow, that's a great connection. Yeah.
They are really, really good about working with inventors to build up the product line. And then, like I said, they will warehouse for free if you're using them for fulfillment. And they can help you with that packaging. So they're really, really good about that. But we're going to come back and talk more about the product line that you've got, the different things that you do, and just fill in our listeners on where they can go and find your product and the benefits of that product. So stick with us, everybody. We will be right back after we go and pay some bills. And if you know a company out there that is manufacturing in the good US of A, please have them get in touch, because you know what? There are 52 Mondays a year, and we are going to be recording this on every Monday. So stick with us. We will be right back with Wendy.
If you're an inventor or you know an inventor out there who would just like to be able to have a conversation with other inventors, join the Inventors Roundtable. It's free. The meetings are virtual, so you can be anywhere in America and talk to another inventor. And for a lot of folks out there, understanding the process, being able to ask questions, getting good service provider information is critical to the inventing process. So, got questions? Want to join? It's free. inventorsroundtable.org.
And thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Made in America, where we get to brag about the products that are made right here in our own backyard. So, Wendy, it is very nice to have you on with us. Thank you so much for joining us today. Tell us a little bit more about the variety of the products that you have now.
Okay, I'm so glad you asked me this question because I fell onto this completely by mistake. I just want to back up for 1 second. When I first started the company, not knowing, and I want to preface this with, I didn't know a single thing about anything, okay? I was a liquor and wine salesman, which may have given me a good nose, but that's about it. So I started by having a manufacturer make me a body scrub, and it was cute in a glass jar. What happened was I did a pop-up somewhere and they asked me, the women who were doing the pop-up asked me for a hand scrub that would take away the odors after cooking with onion or garlic, but make their hands soft. They even spelled it out for me. They said, well, how about rosemary mint or eucalyptus lavender? So I started with those two and added lemon clove. In about 3 weeks after that, they were all a hit, which takes me to the one product that sort of has gotten me on the map, which is the Fish Away. It's called Fish Away. It's made with that lemongrass and clove bud essential oils, all with those other juicy, yummy ingredients I mentioned before. So it literally, and I had to prove it. If you put a product in Walmart, you can't just write on the label, it removes odors. Unless you prove it. I mean, lab reports, testimonials, you like all kinds of bacteria testing, everything. So that's what you talk to someone who didn't know anything in the beginning. You learn as you go, and that's a huge thing. You got to learn it as you go as you do it, and that's what has come. Now, besides those odor removing, I have one called Dirt X, which takes away really heavy duty, tire schmutz, and it could be like gardening dirt, glue, whatever. It takes away dirt. But then I have the beautiful, lovely ones that women and men love: foot scrubs, body scrubs, pina misam colada, smushy tushy. Eucalyptus lavender, beach day, all kinds of fun, beautiful products.
All right. So you're made in America, made in South Carolina. There's other products that are it's a good smelly kind. I mean, shoot, you can, buy a body wash that's got those aromas in it. Why are you special?
Okay. Going back to that liquor and wine job. I have a nose, like it's an insane nose. It's called the what is it? The olfactory system. That's the smell. And I can detect the faintest of faintest smells. So when I mix my fragrances together, they are outstanding. And I'm not just saying that because I said it. I didn't know in the beginning that I was making outstanding scents. People would tell me, this is amazing. The combination of the coconut with the lime, it's so beautiful you want to dunk your head in there. And the beach day has taken off. And that, I didn't even know. But one of my fillers, when I made it, she said, you really hit it out of the park with this one. So I have this skill. So that's what makes the scents different. And I have smelled a lot of products, believe me. I smell products all the time on purpose. Mine are better. I'm not just, you know what? They're the best on the planet. I'm just going to say it. They're the best on the planet.
No, you can claim that here because you're made in America, and we're going to let you.
Yeah,
We're going to
that's
let you
right.
Whatever
Made
you
in
want.
America,
That's right.
best on the planet.
That's right. So what's been your biggest challenge?
Oh boy. I think it's been my biggest gift and my biggest challenge is the not knowing. I don't know how to do it. I never knew how to do it. And I had to learn myself. So on the plus side, now I knew how to do all this stuff that I didn't know how to before. But the bad side, when you said the biggest challenge, okay, learning retail link when you get into Walmart, because I don't have a broker, right? I didn't have the money for a broker. Or learning how to, the first set of labels I ever got printed, the font was so small because I hired a guy who didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know these things, but I learned I learn as I go. And that's, like I said, a plus and a minus.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, what's been the biggest surprise then?
That my formula is so amazing because I didn't know. I'm not a scientist. I was a comedian, a stand-up comedian and an actress in New York for a dozen years. Like I know how to make people laugh. That's my gift, okay? I can make you laugh. Do I know how to mix the I don't know why. Somebody's up top looking down on me saying, "You're going to make this formula and it's going to be amazing," because that's the biggest surprise is that my formula is so great. Really. It's crazy when people come up. I like a trade show. Sometimes I'll sponsor the bathrooms. Like Surf Expo. I just did that. I sponsored the bathrooms. People will come out of the bathroom and they'll just hold their hands up in front of their friends' faces and go, "Smell my hands! Smell my hands!" Like literally, it's hilarious.
That's gotta be so fulfilling to see the reactions to people. I know I used to write murder mysteries, and the first time I got on a plane and somebody was reading a book I had written and I didn't know them, it's like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, totally cool. Totally cool. Yeah. I wish, going back to the biggest challenge, there are many people in the world, including myself in 2018, that didn't really understand what a sugar scrub was or a sugar scrub can do. And that can be challenging with the label and do people know what it is? Is it tunnel vision? Oh, I just think it's a scrub that I use in the shower. So there's definitely challenges when it comes to educating the consumer right from your label, right? Because you don't have any other thing to use unless, you've got a big 12-foot display in Costco or something. So
For sure. I
yeah.
mean, there's a lot to learn when you like you said, your background was not in taking a product to market. So then how do you grow? How do you get to be that big international company when you're a single entrepreneur?
Yeah, it's challenging, but luckily, I understand that I know what I know and I don't know what I don't know. And I've recently hired a consultant. I think we both know who he is, and he knows what I don't know. So that's going to help me grow because now there's two of us, me doing my thing, him doing his thing, and now we're going to elevate. Oh,
Yeah.
and then, me hiring a formulator to make the product so we can scale it, you know?
Yep.
And my next
Absolutely.
jump is to hire someone who knows what they're doing on TikTok,
Oh,
who's going to get more than 12 views.
you know what? Don't even worry about that one. Go somewhere else. Learn the hard way. That's hardly worth it. No, I've got someone I pay to do mine.
Yeah.
And, and he explains to me then some of the challenges. But fortunately, we've got over 1,000 followers now on TikTok. But it took us a
Yeah.
while. It,
Yeah.
it down and dirty focus and stuff. So some of that social media stuff, we've learned it's like this one's not worth it. This one's not worth it. Let's focus on this right here. This one's not worth it. And you pick and choose. You pick and choose
Yeah. Yeah.
what
That's
you're
the
going to
thing,
do.
picking and choosing for sure.
Yep. And telling the stories because you got to keep their attention.
Hmm.
And you can't put the same link in over and over again. Oh my God, it's painful.
It is painful. Yeah.
It can
Yeah.
be so painful,
Yeah.
learning it the hard way. And you've got to be careful. I mean, the first person I hired to do my social media stole all of my intellectual property.
Wow, I've paid people before that haven't even used the product correctly, when making a video. But I think my next focus is some micro influencers that will, use the product correctly and make little videos. They don't have to have a million followers, just a few thousand, and sort of grow that way on TikTok. I'm gonna work on that. I just look at that girl who did own Poppy, the soda, and she was phenomenal on TikTok. And her face was a big push on that brand before Pepsi bought it. Yeah.
There you go. All right, we're going to be back here in just a few minutes after we go and pay some bills. And we're going to wrap up with Wendy and talk some more about her cool products. And the way they smell, they're so awesome. And I love a good garden in my shower. And the kitchen's not too bad to have a good garden either. So stick with us, everybody. We'll be back to wrap up this segment of Invent America, Made in America. Sorry about that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about some of those products. So you know what? We're going to go and pay some bills. You can find us online at Made in America YouTube channel. We post these segments every single week. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Introducing the amazing new Snoozle. It sprays faster, lasts longer. Ask for Snoozle by name.
And thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Made in America, where we get to brag about the products that are made right here in our own backyard. And so this is our segment with Wendy and the wonderful scented products, scrubs, hand scrubs, body scrubs, correct, because you can use it in the shower, so it's not just for hands. But specializing in certain ones that if you've gone fishing, if you've been in the dirt, if you've done different things that those scents are on your hands, then you've got different scrubs for different reasons.
Yes, it's very true. I did a before and after picture, which obviously I can't show you on the radio here, but I did a demo recently. I'm in some natural food stores in Florida, so I was going around the state doing demos. This guy came in right from the construction site. I mean, calluses and dirt in the palms. Like if you look at the palm of your hands, those lines, his were encrusted with dirt. I said, get over here. You got to wash your hands. So he comes over to my little sink, I take with me. I give him the dirt axe. He washes it. It's like night and day. I was like, oh my gosh, look at this guy. I mean, clean. And I get it that there's some more, there's some industrial products out there. And then, there's the orange thing. I totally get it. And guess what? Those products are less per ounce. I don't know where they're made. They could be made in America, but mine has such good, wholesome, lots of organic and natural ingredients, and you don't need a lot of mine. So that's another thing when I was saying about being on the label. Like you only need a teaspoon size, maybe a tablespoon if you're really dirty, and it will do the job. But anyway, yes. And then the fishing one, it was great because when I had to do the open call for Walmart, they picked me. They picked me for a morning appointment in the fishing department. And I'm thinking, oh my God. So we got the fish away label, right? We go in there at 9:30 in the morning. And my husband said to me, don't do the mushy mush with the fishing department. Because when I demo the product, I always put a little on my hands, do the mushy mush with my hands. And then I say, throw the hips in. And then, you do a little thing. And, these buyer rooms at Walmart are about 3 feet by 5 feet. And my husband said, don't do that there. Well, guess what? That's why I got the deal. Okay. I did the mushy mush with the buyer. He loved it. He loves the product. So they did end up putting it into like 200 stores, which, by the way, we filled all 10,700 jars by ourselves in Bluffton, which was a thing. We put together all the sidekicks, everything. But it's a great product and people are buying it. They're buying it and they're reordering. Walmart is reordering. So it's a wonderful product. I'm happy. I'm really happy with it.
Well, congratulations. That is a
Thank you.
wonderful success story. So what's next? How do you see the line changing?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not going to add a lot of more SKUs. I have something called Resting Beach Face, which I recently trademarked, and that's a lovely facial scrub. But I kind of have to put that for one moment on the side because I want to use these sugarcane tubes. They're partially sugarcane, so they degrade. So that's kind of on the side, but right now I'm concentrating working with this manufacturer, getting a big PO. We have some very, 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 let me say it again, a very important meeting next week, my consultant and myself. And, that won't be the answer that day because there's many steps with this company, but a big PO is going to send me forward. So I'm finally able to solicit big POs, where before I couldn't because how many grandmothers do I know, right? Like 6, that's it. So, and the spoon thing, it's hard. So now that I know I can manufacture quantity, right? Mm-hmm. We can grow. And that's the whole thing now. I've finally gotten here. It's been 6 years. I've been working my, in my language, my tuchus off. I've been working my tuchus off to the point where But I learned from nothing. I mean, it's not that I didn't grow up in a nice way. I went to college and all that, but I didn't study business. I didn't. I went to New York on a bus to be an actress. This is all foreign to me. All of this Excel sheets and this kind of thing. But I've had to learn it myself. And like I said, I learned enough to know what I don't know. Get somebody else to do it.
There you go. There you go. I think that that's probably the most important thing that we tell inventors. It's like, you've got a skill set, focus on your skill set, bring in the folks to help you as you grow and for the things that you don't know what you're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and send to you also the contact information for the R&D tax credit, because a lot of the things that you are doing fall under that.
Oh, good.
And that tax credit, you can take a dollar for dollar tax credit back. You can go back 3 years. All right.
Wow.
And as long as you are making it and selling it and making money, you can use that tax credit. So I will get you in contact with the right people. They will help you figure out where your advantage is and what you can do with that. So that'll be a big one for you. And also with the Packwell manufacturing for the packaging and stuff that can help you.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yes.
So, we learn a lot of things here too about, different places where inventors can go and say, okay, we need this kind of help and we need this kind of help. And it's like, let me see what we can do.
Yeah, for sure.
So, as you grow and you get those next products, are you shipping now internationally as well?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because that's a whole nother ball. You per SKU, you pay for that EU certification per SKU. Now Mexico, that's another thing. And I have to, like I said, I have to be able to scale before I can do that. Like even Walmart in Mexico, right? Would be great. But I would like to be in the EU because I did the Chicago Home Show one year and a lot of different companies from the EU were there and they loved my product, but it's so expensive. It's so expensive to get that certification.
Yep.
So there,
I've met the one inventor that I had met was, product. He was selling it in a jar here for $10 a jar, but they sell it in China for $150 a jar.
In China?
Yep. We'll talk about that another time. And he is made in Colorado. So everybody, we need to wrap this one up, but we've got some other topics to take care of on Made in America. So be with us next week when we've got another story to tell about making products right here in the good old USA. And thank you so much, Wendy. The website again, Wendalas.com, and we will post that on our site. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.